I wish there was a treaty we could sign. I'm angry and I'm tired all the time. I wish there was a treaty. I wish there was a treaty between your love and mine.
Quick review. 1805, Zebulon Pike comes into the area, cuts a deal with the Dakota. 2 tracts of land, the Bedote, where the Minnesota and the Mississippi come together, and the other one there where the St. Croix and the Mississippi come together. Both areas of land were being set aside to possibly build future forts for the United States government. Only one of those was used for that, and that was the Bedote, Fort Snelling. And then before you know it, treaties. That's all anybody's talking about. It's not just Minnesota. It's coming all the way in from the East Coast. Many different American Indian nations are cutting deals with the United States government for land.
In the 1837 treaty signed by the Dakota and the Ojibwe, the falls and all the surrounding lands between the St. Croix and Mississippi rivers were ceded to the United States. Within hours of the news of its ratification, the rush was on.
What land are they talking about? They're talking about the land right on the other side of the Mississippi River from Champlin, Minnesota. You go over there to where Anoka is and a little bit north. That area was Dakota land that was ceded, given over to the United States government in 1837. A little bit north of that, the Ojibwe ceded their land.
I wish there was a treaty we could sign.
So the race is on. Come 1849, and Minnesota becomes a territory. And you can see right here, you can even pause the video to read it, but you can see that couple sentences down there, suddenly it seemed as though everyone was talking about treaties. They would need that land to change hands from the American Indians over the United States government so they could legally settle on the land. And then we meet the governor of the territory, Alexander Ramsey. And we can see here that Alexander Ramsey declared in 1849 that his main goal as this little politician here is to sign these treaties, get this land turned on over, and then they can move on from there. And they learned from looking at the deals made with other Native American nations out east that they could offer annuities, which means you'd give a down payment of money, a little bit up front, and then a little bit every year called annuities for a number of years to pay it off. And they could offer reservation land reserved for the American Indian nations to live the way they want to live. And now we meet Henry Hastings Sibley. Actually, he's been around for a while, kind of a big fur trader, powerful business guy.
I wish there was a treaty we could sign.
Had a relationship with the granddaughter of a Dakota chief earlier in his life during his fur trading days, and had a daughter. And so he had fur trading relationships and knowledge of the people there, the Dakota, and they knew him. So he was the perfect person to ask to go and try to pull this treaty together between the Dakota and the United States government. And here's the problem to be solved. The United States government wants the land in southern Minnesota so that settlers can come in and live there. But the Dakota have control of the land. The question is, based on everything that's been going on recently, should the Dakota sign a treaty to cede the land over the United States or not? That's what we're going to be looking at. And should the United States go ahead and proceed with the treaty or not? So before you head on to step 3 and start analyzing the perspectives of the Dakota leaders in thinking about if they want to do a treaty or not, and the perspective of the American government leaders like a Henry Hastings Sibley or an Alexander Ramsey, I'm going to go through and give you some steps of quality business compromises. This is what they look for when they cut deals. And let's see if you can build some human capital and prepare yourself to make some of these deals maybe in your future. In business, if you ever want to make a compromise with somebody or make an agreement with an employee or with another business for something, you want to really make sure that you understand what they want out of the deal. You want to really truly listen. Sit back and listen to what they're saying. Sometimes you have to read between the lines, but listen to what they have to say. What do they really need? And then sit back and think about, what do you really need out of this deal? Not what you just want, but what do you need out of the deal? And ultimately, is this deal all that important to you? If somehow the deal falls through, or in this case with the Dakota and the United States government, if the deal falls through, is it the end of the world for you? What's the worst that's going to happen? Can you live with the consequences of a broken deal? If you don't sign on the line and come up with a compromise, can you and your company, or in this case, can you and the Dakota people, or can you and the United States government live with this? And once you've figured out exactly what you need and what they need, be prepared to possibly make some sacrifices, to give something up, something that you don't really need, to keep something that you know you really do. And then finally, just know that line in the sand beyond which you're not willing to make a deal. You're just going to say, you know what, it's not worth it at that point. I'll deal with the consequences. So there you go. You're going to be making these decisions for both sides, working on perspectives. The future of your people depend on you. You're going to be researching both of their needs for land, money, and just lifestyle. Good luck with step 3. Your opinion matters. Adios and au revoir.